Hello everyone, this is POW Ponder on Weather. In this update, we're going to be talking about a major storm system with snow and blizzard-like conditions, along with much colder weather for the southeast. So if you're new to the channel, click the subscribe button and notification bell to get all my daily updates to keep you ahead of the storm. Good morning everyone. This is Thursday, November the 11th update. Happy Veterans Day out there for all the veterans that fought for our country. I truly honor your service and appreciate you. So let's take a look at the overall 500 millibar pattern for today. We've got that system up to the north that's bringing all the very high winds and blizzard-like conditions, and we'll go over all the details here. This trough will be moving off to the east, and a portion of it will dive southeast, will bring much colder conditions for them. So as we continue into Sunday, that same system continues off into the northeast as we got a reinforcing shot coming on the backside with the Clipper system that's going to be coming through the Ohio Valley as we start early next week, as we've got a ridge starting to build out west, and that's going to bring some warmer conditions start to filter in off the western U.S. And then as we transition into next Thursday, we have another deepening trough. Could be setting up another snowstorm for a lot of the same areas is going to be hit today with some very heavy snow, as this will continue diving off and moving across to the east. And then we transition into Sunday, about 10 days from now, November the 21st. You can definitely see as the step down process over time as we get colder and colder, pushing further south, and those isobars and those millibars go a little bit further south. So you can definitely see the snow line starts to creep a little bit further south as we get into that third week of November. So let's take a look at the hazards today, because there's a lot of them. First, we've got that atmospheric river just inundating parts of the Pacific Northwest. They've got new flood watches out for them and to Washington and northern parts of Oregon here. And there's all the high winds with their very strong developing system up to the north, and a good chunk of the Dakotas into North Dakota, South Dakota, into Nebraska here. Then there it is. We've got that confirmed blizzard warning in parts of southern South Dakota, northeast South Dakota here. And then we've got those winter weather advisories for much of North Dakota into Minnesota, and then even winter storm warnings where some very heavy snow into northern parts of Minnesota. And this even gets more intense as you go into, say, Winnipeg and places into central Canada here, where they could be getting 12 to 24 inches of snow, no question. So as we take a look at the overall map for today, there's the cold front that brought all the heavy rain and storms overnight. We did live coverage for about 4.5 hours last night, covering the event, portions of Kansas here in Oklahoma, and then portions of North Texas. Now it's crystal clear on the backside as that cold front will rapidly move through. Now all the storms have shifted east and bringing some heavier rains into portions of the southeast today, as that snow track will be well to the north. There's our heavier snows in the Dakotas, and that very heavy snow where they've got that winter storm warning into northern parts of Minnesota. And there's your flash flood watch for portions of the Northwest, and then kind of sporadic mixed bag of snow showers for Idaho into Montana. So as we transition into your Friday, November the 12th, we actually see a reinforcing shot of colder air. So it's pretty clear in Oklahoma and Texas and much of the areas to the south, but this will even clear you out even more, would bring in some colder conditions that will bring some definitely cold conditions for your Saturday morning. We'll go over the details on that as that first cold front pushes off to the southeast. But you can see our snow line, or kind of our series of storms that we talked about well to the north here, bringing that snowstorm. And then where it's around that low pressure system, some heavier snow still ringing out in the Dakotas and Minnesota. This will transfer into portions of Wisconsin, kind of a dusting or two into Iowa, and this will eventually get into portions of the Ohio Valley as heavy rain sets up along the East Coast here, along the I-95 corridor, as that same system will continue rapidly pushing across to the east. But man, that's why they have these flash flash flood watches for portions of the Northwest. Let me just kind of zoom in. So this is from the National Weather Service of Seattle here, just over the next 24 hours. So this is today, guys, from Thursday 10 a.m. to Friday 10 a.m. And this is why they have the flash flood watches in place, because some of these areas in these red, like Paradise, could pick up 4 to 6 inches just in the next 24 hours. So Stevens Pass, 3 to 4 inches, North Bend, 2 to 3, Seattle, about 1.5 inches here. So you can see some pretty hefty amounts. And that's why they included the flash flood watches for those areas. And if you swing down further to the south, yeah, I mean, look at that, 4 to 6 inches. This is a little bit longer extended time frame between now and Saturday morning, so over a 2-day spread, but still some pretty impressive totals for portions of Oregon here. Another 2 to 3 inches for Portland. I mean, so they just get inundated with rain after rain after rain, day after day. And but yeah, some of these totals, again, another 4 to 6 inches, 4 to 6 inches along the coast here, with this graph here on the left hand side, so you can kind of see, depending on where you live, and some of those higher rain amounts. So definitely be prepared for some definitely heavier rain moving in over the next day or two in that region. So now let's take a look at back behind that cold front. There's that reinforcing shot. So as the skies clear, as we get that radiational cooling, yeah, we're going to drop pretty low. So no more storms in Kansas and Oklahoma. Now we're talking crystal clear skies, and we're going to be seeing freezing conditions moving back into Oklahoma, and even start creeping into maybe the outlying areas, even into northern parts of Texas here. The panhandle of Texas could get down to freezing, and even where you're low enough, even say Austin area could creep down to say 37 degrees as skies really start to clear. So you're definitely have to take care of your plants and take care of the tender vegetation down in those regions. But yeah, so there's that pretty impressive cold shot as it moves through Arkansas, going into parts of the southeast, and then yes, widespread freezing conditions as this will continue pushing off into the east. So as we wake up for that Saturday morning, there's that crystal clear skies, that reinforcing shot. Now that cold front just moves off to the southeast, and then to the north, we still got that snow flying in the Dakotas and Minnesota, and there's kind of a mixed bag of precipitation where you're going to be teetering on freezing-like conditions, at least in the morning hours. So that's why some of this could be just a heavy, wet, nasty snow, maybe a dusting or two, come across our northern regions and to Wisconsin and to Michigan here and upper parts of upstate New York, as that same system will continue moving across with the rain still left over for portions of the I-95 corridor as we get into the day on Saturday. So as we transition to your Sunday morning, November the 14th timeframe, there's that second reinforcing shot going into the southeast. So now we're talking, almost freezing like conditions setting up in Alabama, getting into say almost 35 degrees in say portions of Atlanta. Those freezing conditions start to creep down into Virginia, into the Carolinas. So that definitely some cold shot, even upper 30s for the Florida Panhandle, some cold stuff for November standards. So that would be at least 10 to 12 degrees, above average, below average for this time of year. So as we go into Monday, so we have that reinforcing trough that comes across on the backside that will just reinforce the colder air. You can see the tailing winds of these blue lines in the 540 line. That's typically where it's going to be cold enough to possibly snow. And some of this will transfer to snow. So we're talking a little bit more snow breaking out into portions of the Ohio Valley, West Virginia here. Yes, Pittsburgh could probably pick up their first, starting to get their first snow of the season by then, as that developing low pressure system will be hanging off the coast here with rain on the coastal side, but where it's going to be cold enough on the backside and to upstate New York and Vermont and New Hampshire here, going into portions of Maine, we could have some snow flying, but especially into parts of Canada with some heavier snow, as this will just continue to push across and then kind of deepen. So we'll just have kind of sporadic snow showers in between going on your Tuesday, November the 16th, still moving across. Some of this could be lake effect snow at times, but then sporadic kind of 1 to 2 inches will kind of add up over a several day time frame as we look out back to the west again, as we have that other system that we talked about at the beginning of the video going to be setting up shop over the same areas by the time we get into next Wednesday the 17th. that they're going to be experiencing a lot of snow today. So more heavy snow with this another deep developing low pressure system moves back into places like Winnipeg, places like northern North Dakota, getting back into South Dakota, getting into Minnesota, as this will continue moving across and dive in a little bit further south as we get into the middle of next week. And then as we transition and look at some of your winds, yeah, these were that series of storms will be moving across to the north. On the backside, we're going to have to be dealing with those very high winds. So some of this could be setting up today, but some of this could be setting up for, you know, that second storm that's coming in Wednesday of next week. So overall, it's going to be a pretty windy area for portions of Montana, getting into Wyoming, a good chunk of the Dakotas, and in Nebraska here with those 50, 60 mile per hour wind gusts at times. They do have those blizzard warnings setting up place today, but I think that actually just kind of returns for maybe the middle of next week with another developing strong system that's going to be impacting a lot of the same areas. So you can definitely see where the higher winds are going to be taking place over just the next 7 days here. And then there's your rain. We dry out for much of Oklahoma and Texas again for the next 7 days. We're kind of like in between systems. So you'll clear out for the next couple of days, have some of those cooler conditions, and then start to warm up again for a good chunk of California and the Southwest. There's the atmospheric river, just keeps on raining day after day after day, and then a lot lighter amounts, and a lot of this will be actually in the form of snow. But again, as these systems kind of move across fairly fast, it's pretty progressive. Just, you know, less than an inch for a good chunk of the southeast. But the main systems are going to be well to the north for the next 7 days into Minnesota, into Wisconsin, going into Michigan here, and parts of the Ohio Valley, getting into the portions of Pennsylvania, as well as upstate New York, where these systems could slow down a little bit and produce a little bit heavier rain showers at times. And then there's your snow. So the combination of all these systems over the next 6 to 7 days will add up to some of these totals up in the higher elevations of over here in Idaho and Colorado, getting into Wyoming. There's the heavier snow with kind of a 1-2 punch, adding with today's totals, and then all of a sudden, Wednesday, the middle of next week. So some of these could be picking up at least 12 to 24 inches, no question whatsoever. And then adding that snow line creeps a little bit further south. So a dusting or two for the next coming up this weekend for the Ohio Valley. But as that second system comes in Monday and Tuesday of next week, this will probably add up to probably 2 to 3 inch swath, getting into northern portions of Illinois, northern portions of Indiana, northern portions of Ohio, northern portions of Pennsylvania, and upstate New York, and getting up into the northern regions. And then a little bit heavier amounts where you're going to be tapping into some of those warm lakes along the Great Lakes, with some heavier snows in that region into portions of Michigan here. And then the heaviest snow will be remaining to the north and parts of Canada. So, and then after that, so this is the combination, between these cool downs and warm ups. So overall, for the next 7 to 10 days, I mean, look at that. Pretty impressive with the colder anomalies where you're going to have warm ups in between. So overall, a little bit warmer conditions overall for the next 7 to 10 days. If you add up all those totals between the highs and lows, a little bit higher than average out west. And then, but then your coldest anomalies over that time frame would be over the Ohio Valley, over the Southeast, and yes, all of Florida. So that is a pretty impressive shot of cold air, and just not 1 or 2 day punch. This is over an extended time frame. These are going to be below average, and this is what we're kind of hinting at for the month of November, being your coldest anomalies, more or less being into the Ohio Valley and Southeast and of Florida. So this is definitely playing out for November like we kind of forecasted going forward. So hey, I appreciate you guys watching. Do like this video. Definitely leave your comments below, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel to catch the latest update where I protect you before and after the storm.